Oh boy. That basically sums up my thoughts of yeah. Arsenal have signed Jorginho. That is not a phrase I thought I was going to be saying. Really ever. I really didn't think that was going to happen. This one is I'll be honest, guys. This one's tough to swallow because it's clearly not the number one choice, not even the number two choice, probably not even the number three choice. This just as an Arsenal fan, this is one of those signings where yes, you have to back the manager, of course. That's the only thing that's getting me through actually right now is that we backing the manager. I back Mikel Arteta fully. Arteta has always loved Jorginho. He's wanted him even at City. He's in love with the Busquets, Jorginho type player. Again, he's Barcelona philosophy. That's what he thinks. The possession type, number 6 or number 5, if you're gonna want to say it. But essentially, that possession based deep lying midfielder is what Arteta loves. He's kind of transformed Thomas Partey into that, but Partey's is that, but also he's more of a destroyer as well. He's able to shield the back four really well, cover space, and do a lot of the number 6 CDM kind of roles. But what Partey has developed is more of that control, that possession base that Arteta looks for. And Jorginho is essentially what that is, just without the destroyer type because he's 31 years old. He's not going to be able to really play in transition at all. He needs to be able to control the game and control the tempo. On another positive side is that Jorginho will not be starting. If Thomas Partey is fit, Thomas Partey will start. So that's the positive. And if Partey can't play, or if Partey needs a rest, which I assume he's not going to play in the Europa League games if he's fit, that is where Jorginho comes in and Arsenal can keep ticking as they want to tick because Jorginho will be able to control the possession of games and be able to control the pace and do exactly what Arteta wants that position to do. Listen, like Sergio Busquets doesn't get around, but Busquets is the best ever in his position. Jorginho is not Busquets. He does what Busquets tries, or he does what Busquets does just in a lesser way. Especially at his age now. When Jorginho, 2 years ago, yes, he was very, very good. Probably second to Busquets in terms of, that possession-based deep-lying midfielder. But he's not going to be able to play the role like Thomas Partey plays. And I think it's very important for Arsenal fans to understand that Jorginho will not be starting. That is something very, very clear. Jorginho is a signing for the next 6 months. That's something very, very clear. The contract runs out at the end of next season, so it's basically an 18-month deal, and I think the option is a team option, a club option. So if the club wanted to extend, they could, but if they didn't, then they could just, this is a short-term deal. Those are the positives, is that it's a short-term deal. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It costs $10 million plus $2 million in add-ons. And like I've been saying on this channel, guys, and like I've been saying for the past week, this signing allows the Declan Rice signing to take place, and that should be the number one priority. Now, and it helps for the title. It's just as simple as it does help for the Premier League title. It does cover a Thomas Partey injury to an extent. It's better than Mohamed El-Neni, who's now out for the season. I think the way Arsenal described it was a severe right knee injury. It sounds like an ACL tear. So he's out for the season. Probably his Arsenal career is done. Most likely that is actually. So we'll see about that. It does cover Thomas Partey. It kind of builds more depth in a way because right now it seems like if Sambi Lokonga is going to go on loan to Crystal Palace, who's going to play that Granit Xhaka role? First of all, Granit Xhaka is a monster, so you can rely much more on Xhaka than on Thomas Partey to play every 3 days. We've seen that. Now I don't want to jinx anything. Xhaka can just like last season, he can get hurt. But you can play Vieira in the left-sided role. You could play Emile Smith-Rowe, which that's actually where I see Smith-Rowe's future position being. But the problem is Smith-Rowe's never fit. So, it still leaves some issues in midfield. But I think Arteta's biggest worry was if Partey goes down, we need somebody. And Jorginho is If they didn't have Thomas Partey, I think Arteta would likely start Jorginho every match. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Jorginho will start games where Partey is not fit or Partey needs a rest. So those are the positives. The negatives come down to Edu. And this is just my opinion. We went after Mikel Mudryk, and we didn't get him. We went after Moises Caicedo, and we didn't get him. We went after Pedro Neto, and we didn't get him. We went after Douglas Luiz, and we didn't get him. We went after Vlahovic. And to be fair, that wasn't really Edu's fault. Vlahovic was just being a Vlaho bitch. So it is what it is. So I don't really put that one on Edu. My point is, there have been a lot of main targets over the last 2 to 3 windows that Edu has not brought in. He has brought in Jesus. That was the one signing that was a main signing that needed to happen. The Brazilian connection definitely helped, and we saw that. I also want to point out the contract situation. The 2 players that have recently signed new deals, are both Brazilians. Gabriel and Gabriel Martinelli and Gabriel Magalhaes. Now, the players that haven't signed the contracts yet are Bukayo Saka and William Saliba, and Aaron Ramsdale needs to be on a new deal, and maybe even Martin Odegaard needs to be rewarded for his performances. And nothing's happened. So, if you see what I'm saying, like, I don't know if it's the Brazilian thing or what, but Edu, I'm not convinced. You cannot be going after a lot of these main signings and not getting them. It's just that simple. He's not getting the job done. The resources are there, and he's not doing it. And where that worries me is Declan Rice. If in 5 months' time, 6 months' time, Arsenal signed Declan Rice, regardless of what happens in the Premier League title, I'm not talking about the title right now. I'm talking about more long-term. If Arsenal signed Declan Rice, then I will give Edu his props. If not, and he misses out again, there needs to be serious conversations going on behind the club about his position. You cannot keep going after these players and just not getting them. And I could throw Lisandro Martinez into that mix as well. That was also a number 1 target and didn't get him. Now, again, they had backup plans, and they went for Zinchenko, and Zinchenko's looking like a great deal, so that's okay. It's good to have backup plans. It's good to plan. But what I am not liking is the perception that Edu is creating around Arsenal, where they chase a target and they just simply don't get him. And that's happening more and more and more. And it's becoming very uncomfortable. It's giving the club a weak persona. That's what it's getting like. I'm not saying be like Chelsea, because Chelsea are running their club like a madness. They're just spending money left and right, don't care what the money is. And Chelsea might not get Enzo Fernandez today. And that might be the same situation. I think that Edu's been going on where big money signing, and maybe even Chelsea, who have endless money, they might not get Enzo Fernandez today. They might. I'm recording this pretty early on, so I'm not sure. But that could happen. However, this feels a little bit uncomfortable right now with how Edu is performing his role. I know Fabrizio Romano and all these guys have a lot of sources and stuff. I prefer the club to keep these things under wraps. That's just my opinion. I know it's really hard because agents speak and players speak, but I would prefer. It just seemed like when like during this window, it seemed very clear that a lot of the sources got information at the same time. And when that happens, it feels like Edu is starting to leak information out into the media to try to control things, control narratives. And I don't have any proof of that, but I just rather just the club do their business and try to keep everything under wraps as much as possible. I know that's unlikely to happen because especially Fabrizio Romano has sources, like insane sources everywhere. But I would prefer for that. And I'm not saying Edu should be sacked. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying I'm not comfortable with how Edu is moving in the transfer market. I'm not comfortable with this is the priority, this is the target, and then just on a consistent basis missing out. There's been one signing in the last 3 windows that Edu has hit that has been the main target. That was Jesus. That was the one main signing that, other clubs went in for, but Edu was able to get. And I think the Brazilian connection is very strong there. But what if it's not a Brazilian connection? What if you don't have those Brazilian ties? And you have to go and get these deals done for a player that Arteta wants. And you're just constantly failing over and over and over and over. I don't like that. I don't like that. And we've seen his negotiation tactic as well. Low bid and then add a little bit of add-ons and then add 5 million there, and if it doesn't work he'll walk away. So like we've seen that 3, 4, 5 times now, and I'm just feeling a little bit uncomfortable. That's just my opinion. Can Arsenal win the title with Jorginho? Well, hopefully Arsenal don't really need Jorginho a lot. That'll be the hope. And that Thomas Partey stays fit and the team plays as it is, and that'll be the team that tries to win the title. But it's a squad edition. Arteta wanted him. Arteta got him. But I know if Arteta wanted him this whole time, they would have gotten him. It was not plan A. It was not plan B. It was not plan C. And so we'll see how it goes. And we need plan A to work in the summer, guys. We need plan A to work in the summer. Declan Rice. Need it. Need it. If I'm telling you right now, if we don't sign Declan Rice, if we're fully in for him, I know it for a fact. We're saving the money for him. If we don't get him, things need to change. You cannot be in this position at the top of the Premier League table and have this beautiful young squad and hopefully give out the new contracts to Saliba and Saka, which still need to be done, by the way, and just miss out. And you just can't. That cannot be done. So Edu has a lot of work to do. Seriously, he has a lot of work to do on the contract side, on the transfer side, and hopefully Arteta in the meantime can, with the squad that he has, bring a Premier League title to North London. So we'll see how it goes. That's my opinions, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Definitely not happy. I'm not happy, but I'm kind of like content, And let's just keep praying that injuries don't bite us and that we can win the Prem. Let's see how it goes. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day and comment down below. I'll see you guys later. Make sure you guys subscribe. Peace out.